Indian athletes are shining at the ongoing Asian Games at Hangzhou, China, with a special highlight being the return of cricket after a 9-year hiatus. Both the Indian men's and women's cricket team are competing for the first time in that after a particular gap, and the women's team made history by securing their gold medal. Yes, the very first Asian Games appearance, and they defeated the Sri Lanka by 19 runs in a thrilling final match with Titus Sidhu's outstanding performance and India's overall strength, making them a formidable contenders for the gold medals in the men's category that is being led by Rituraj Gaikwad, which is gearing up for their matches in this historic cricket tournament. Notably, India along with Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Afghanistan received direct entry in the quarterfinals due to their top ICC international rankings. This boosts India's chances for their success. Considering their explosive batsmen and talented bowlers, the Cricket Asia having been contested only 3 times in their history and has returned, India has participated. This marks a significant moment in the overall context of the cricket and the large canvas for the growth of cricket, both men's and women, especially since they skipped the event in 2014. Cricket enthusiasts worldwide are eagerly watching India's cricket teams that aims for gold and repeat what women have done. Well, the time today is to celebrate women's gold medal, and for us there are 2 important guests who are joining us. One, of course, who's played the earlier World Cup in India, Nilima Joglekar, the former India international cricketers of the 70s and the 80s. And also we have a young player who's played alongside Smriti Mandhana, who's played under the skippership of Julan Goswami and is now the assistant coach of Maharashtra, Sonia Dabir. First, I'll go to Nilima Joglekar. Nilima ma'am, if you can hear us, India comes back with a gold medal. Do you think that was the only medal and honor missing from the Indian women's table?
Yes, this is the first time we entered the Asian Cup matches. And yes, it is exciting for women's cricket as always. If medal is a medal, because like Jemima in her interview, one of the interviews, she said, we play, but here we are playing as a nation.
Yeah.
And we are playing for the Indian team and the nation, and winning a gold is that, So it's really nice that we have won this tournament, and it augurs well for Smriti Mandhana and Jemima herself, because Smriti would have been very happy to have some runs under her belt now, coming out of a long lean period, and it will give her tremendous boost to her career in sense of she led the team also.
Yes.
For first 2 matches. So it was really nice to have 2 Maharashtra players to captain in the same tournament, Rituraj Gaikwad for men's and Smriti Mandhana for first 2 games. It was really nice to have her back, so to say, amongst the runs.
Well, Smriti is an amazing talent and she's a very sorted cricketer. I think it stems from the fact that her father has played cricket, brother has played cricket at considerable levels, especially at the junior levels. But I'd like to come back to this assistant coach and former India international player who's also represented India at the World Cup. Sonia, one interesting question. We have to talk about Smriti Mandhana, the special talent. She plays at the WBL. She plays at the hundreds. She comes back, she goes and represents India at the World Cup, Asia Games, whatever. And then she comes back and is available for the Ranji, the domestic matches. So your views, how does the entire full circle comes around the special talented player? Isn't it rare?
Definitely, more than rare. It's really good to have Smriti back in the Maharashtra team playing the domestic season, because the aura she has or the way she plays, she has represented nation, and the way she inspires
Right.
youngsters or even her teammates. It's very useful for the Maharashtra team so that they get inspired and encouraged by her and the way she plays.
Absolutely, she's got a special. Well, there's an interesting story that you, being the assistant coach, you've also played and shared the dressing room with her. Just take us through about what kind of a plays, having seen the Sangli girl grow up in front of you, and while you were retiring, your views on Smriti Mandhana as a player, as a team member, and now as a senior most statesman of the Indian women's cricket team.
Oh, it was really nice to play with her, and now being sitting outside the other side of the ground, it's been a different kind of a journey for me as well as for her as well, because it was almost the time when I had decided to stop playing cricket, and she was, growing at a peak. Seen her since 19 days, a very hardworking player and a proper team player, and that's the reason she is being leading the Indian side in the Asian Games and playing the WBBL. Also, the way she has uh, changed her approach and the way she has, uh, what you'll say, the to approach towards the game the game in the way she used to play before, and the overall development that she has done. It's really very nice to see and feels proud to be sharing the dressing room with her while playing and now as assistant coach.
Absolutely. We'll go back to Miss Nilima Joglekar. Ma'am, there has been a spurt and an amazing growth in women's cricket, especially now. Pune has become very important. Of course, it was in the early 70s, mid 70s, with Shubhangi Kulkarni, the Albies of the world being based out of there, the Alu Bamzis, the inter-state tournament coming, intercity tournaments. Where do you think the changes have happened in the last 20 years? Is it the grit of the girls, or is it suddenly the coaching, the mushrooming of the coaching academies? What is your view on Pune suddenly becoming a very active place for women cricketers?
Actually, it has always been a progressive city, and everything first about women's cricket has happened in India. And Sonia, when Sonia's time, I would say, was a transition time for women's cricket. And because she played for women's cricket of India, and as well as when they merged with the BCCI, that's the time. So those girls were very, very crucial for the game's transition into what we see today. Because likes of her played, they knew the hardship of playing, and then on their own learning with their own talent, and some of the senior players who could help them at that time. And similarly, she carried on the work, Sonia, into when she played as a senior player in the state team, and then she made a debut, I think, late.
Yes.
So now I look at it this way, that it's not about the change, but definitely once you give them good facilities to work with, and that is what has happened. From 2005, I would mention Shubhangi Kulkarni, who was the secretary at that time when this transition happened. And 2005, when it was with WCAI, that is Women's Cricket Association of India, that's the time they changed. And 2005, no one remembers that because there was no media exposure as it was in 2017 for the girls. That time also, Indian team reached the finals.
Yes, in South Africa against Australia, 2005, yes. The fateful afternoon where there was a run out of Anjum Chopra and then Mithali lost a match. It was one of those closely fought matches.
So I think those are the 2005, I would say, would have been transition time for cricket. And then when
Indian team is also going through transition. You made a very nice point. I'll come to Sonia. Sonia, there have been 3 or 4 junior players in the senior team who have transitioned rather well from the previous Under-19 World Cup to just cementing their place. Your views on that? And also, you've got to highlight that the transition after 2005 that happened, Shubhangi Kulkarni's involvement in that gave, or rather made you to stay till the age of 30 when you actually made the debut of your international tournament. But first we talk about the junior players in the under-19 and then your debut. What took it so long?
I think when it comes to the under-19 players merging in the senior side just now,
Right.
it definitely shows the bench strength of Indian women's cricket. You know, you have so much talent that there is no complacency left in the senior team as well as overall in the women's cricket, because like I said, Shefali Verma is made her debut at the age of 15. So girls coming and playing under 15 has started working and has a hope that if you work hard and keep working hard and play consistent cricket and raise your standard, you still have a chance to play and make a debut at the younger age. So this shows that women's cricket, how it is developing very fast in India.
Absolutely. And you know, you have to now reflect back on your career. You played the World Cup for India, and you also, unfortunately, at the peak of your career, you had that injury that kept you out for almost 5 years. Would you look back and say that was also a transition for the senior team, because you had to wait quite a while? If you were to draw parallel today, it would be Surya Kumar Yadav waiting till 30, 32 or 31 to make his entry into the Indian team, whereas you had already created that template that at 30 you made debut for India. Your views?
I think age is just a number, because I still playing cricket right now as well. Of course, not the way I used to play, but see, when you're making an India debut, I personally feel that age should not be looked at, because the player, the how he or she has performed should be focused at. So I think 30 was just a number for me.
Also, when you play the international tournament, let me take you back to an international tournament at Sangli. You're going into bat and there is Devika who walks in, and there was a cheeky commentator who says a 15-year-old walks in with double her age, and then you had to go back to the commentator and say, hey, shh.
So because I had no clue that he will be saying all such things, but that was fun part of that game, because actually it was a situation that Devika was half of my age and we were playing together.
So absolutely. Let's reflect on the same play, about her prowess, how she's grown into a player from a 15-year-old kid to someone who's actually made a cut into the, quite early in life, into the Indian national team. Your views?
She is definitely a very good player, Devika Vaidya. I said I have seen her absolutely from the age of 15 till date, and she has changed her approach, she has changed her game, and she has really worked hard day in and day out in spite of all the things she has faced in her life.
Absolutely. Nilimaji, we would like to come back to you. India has sent their team A as well to compete in the Asian Games, and they're eyeing for gold. Incidentally, women cricket also has a talent, like you spoke about the transition. So the talent pool that have come out is really phenomenal. So I want to ask you a question. In such scenario, do you see a team A for Indian women, considering that you have two of the most talented Arjuna awardees who are still doing well, Poonam Yadav and Sushma Verma? They are making it difficult to make a comeback into the Indian team. Do you think the time is right for India to also start looking at Team A?
Absolutely. I think I will first take you back to your last question about the junior players coming up, because they are the ones who are changing the dynamics of the game today. And Tita Sadhu, for one,
Yes.
you know, she has been a tremendous under-19 tournament. She was instrumental in getting us that coveted cup. And in a bowling, and I would thank the Bengal team because she comes from there, and they have produced some amazing international players and especially pace bowlers. And like I don't need to mention Julan, but before that Runa Basu, Lopamudra Bhattacharya, and now Titas and Rumaili Dhar also, though she played for Air India, but before that, like she's a Bengal product. And these girls have, and I'm sure Titas has had Julan's support and coaching and the way she herself credited her cricketing or experience shared with her. So it's been Titas is one of the upcoming players along with Shefali Verma, because
Right.
you need to have Sunil Gavaskar and Kapil Dev in the team to get that balance right. You have to get the opposition out. So coming back now to your question, yes, I agree that today's game has changed, and there is a possibility of a second team. But let's not jump the queue, because people in the team, no matter which team they're playing for, they need consistency,
Right.
which is what is lacking. And that's why we are not able to be the force that we are actually. Everyone contributes, whether they're bowling or batting. In their own department, if they do that consistently, like it is nice to see Jemima scoring again in the Asian Games. So people like her should be consistent. Smriti Mandana. So if they take the batting department and the bowlers take their own course, I think like in Devika's case, she was amongst the wickets. So we need to have consistent performance, and that is what is I will pinpoint to Sonia also, like she's been a coach. So those consistency, she will know the importance of consistent team performance. That is where everyone should contribute and concentrate on.
Well, absolutely. There's a new phenomena also going about the coaching department. I think it's a time to reflect on Nushin Al-Qadar, one of the best off spinners. I think the phase that Indian women's cricket had from 2005 till 2013-14, till the time Sonia played. Sonia, do you think we must reflect and applaud the contribution of Nushin, who's been a phenomenal off spinner after Neetu David, and now a brilliant coach for women's cricket at the junior level? The transition that she's made from an active player to a coach to a very successful women's coach. Your views?
Yeah, definitely. Nushin herself, being a very aggressive player,
I think we are facing some technical issues. I'll throw that question up to Nilima ji. Nilima, Nushin Al-Qadar has also grown from a player to a successful coach. Your views on that?
Yes, definitely. Nushin has been, it was my pleasure to see all these people grow up in front of me. As a match referee, I got this lease of life with cricket, you know. Nushin was a fighter to the core, and that is what she imbibes in her team, whichever team she takes up. But there are a lot of coaches who have done well as well. So I think the team requires a permanent coach, like, you know,
Yes.
Nushin had a long lease with one team, and this is where it has taken us to the World Cup. So it's a good thing now they have appointed Kanetkar, again a Maharashtra player, Pune. So progressive, I'm saying it looks good for cricket as
Absolutely.
such.
Let's take a step back. If Sonia is, Sonia can hear us, and if the technical line is okay.
yeah.
Sonia, I just want to ask you,
Yeah.
the batch of 2005, 6, 7, the Rumeli Dhars of the world, the Anaga Deshpandes, the Nushin Al-Qadar, they're doing a phenomenal job in coaching. Do you want to reflect on how better transition that they've made as compared to the other foreign counterparts who've just looked at only media engagements and squandered their career in not serving the game in coaching as much as what Indian girls have done? Your views?
Yeah, I think Nushin or Anaga or Rumeli, they have done pretty well as a coach as well as a player as well. Definitely, when you play for such a long period, you have a lot of things to give back to the game as well as the upcoming players, and they are doing a really phenomenal job. Just to mention, as you mentioned, Anaga Deshpande, another Maharashtra player who is right now coaching the Uttarakhand team, and under 19 Uttarakhand team has been champions for last 2 years. So it feels so proud to see Anaga going there and taking those team to win the championship.
Well,
and I think
for the viewers who don't know, she's the bigger version of Richa Ghosh, especially at the 2009 World Cup where she smashed 42 or 46 swashbuckling to the Australians, and that was the first time Indians actually made us stamp their authority in front of the Aussies, saying that, hey, we are here to score, and especially those two flicks. You want to talk about that inning, that swashbuckling innings of Anaga, which was absolutely a highlight for India, how they made that change and defeated Australia at the World Cup?
Yeah, Anaga has always been a very aggressive player, and I still remember her shot over point. Playing that shot in 2009 was a very different and a very surprising thing in women's cricket. But the way she played those innings was definitely worth remembering.
Well, absolutely.
And I'm sure the Australians are also very surprised to see such attacking game by the two openers over there.
So, again, 2005, 2007 and 2014, the watershed period for Indian women's cricket. But at the same time, they've stamped their authority, they've won the Commonwealth Games, they've won the gold at the Asian Games. Now it's time for men's to stamp and come back and say, hey, if women can do it, we can do at least, and match up their gold standard.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.